Chip and Chap, this is Chip and Chap Chat. This is where we rap, now we're Chip and Chap Chat. This podcast made from two nerdy brown boys, both 30 years old, buying all the fresh toys. One of us anime, other Marvel fanboys, both throwing hella shit, bringing fans hella joy. Both love to talk shit, that you make it more noise. If you're in a arcade, don't fuck with these boys.
What up, Chip and Chaps? This is episode 36 of the Chip and Chap Chat podcast. We are talking about Batman v Superman today. We have myself, Fu Ray.
Yep. Jamba.
And Kanoe.
Hey.
All right. Jeff saw the movie a couple days ago, 2 times.
Twice.
We've just seen the movie.
Right.
We just
got
out of the theater.
Super fresh. It's still warm.
You're not going to be able to clickety clack.
I'm telling her. Go ahead.
So yeah, we just got out of the movie fresh. Mm-hmm. So let's
wait. For those obviously you don't know, it's Batman v Superman.
Yeah, I think I said that. But either way, for the people that are trying to get like a non-spoiler thing, the non-spoiler thing is going to be like 15 seconds. So
I think I can actually make the
no.
I guess not.
What do you? So quickly, how'd you feel about the movie? 1 out of 10. What do you give it, Kanoe?
I wanted probably like 4.
A 4. Okay.
Probably a 4.
All right.
What?
Jeff?
Yeah.
You give it a 4? I give it about a 6. I give it about a 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Jeff saw it twice.
Right.
Yeah, but I've seen it twice, so yeah.
And based on what I saw, I think I'll give it maybe like a 6.5.
Yeah.
I was mean.
I'll give it about a 6.5.
Yeah. Yeah. But 6.
But I don't necessarily disagree with Kanoe's 4.
No. I can agree completely with why she gave it a 4.
Yeah. Okay. So that was the non-spoilery part.
Yep.
So actually, if you're trying not to know anything that happened in the movie, this is your opportunity to GTFO because man, I've got some words.
We all have some words.
Let's get into this.
Mm-hmm. Should we start with what we thought was good? I feel like we should start with what was good.
I think it's just easier if we just talk about the movie. This is a free flow conversation.
I think free flow conversation kind of makes the most sense. Because you're getting all the ideas that you already have in your head based on exactly what you just seen.
But I would like to know, before we get into it, what was your anticipation going into the movie? What were you expecting out of it?
Me?
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I'm not familiar with the characters very much at all. I mean, I'm not familiar with the characters very much at all, and so I didn't really know what to expect going into this movie. I didn't see, none of the trailers really were epic to me a lot of the time, when I saw them when they came out, Were
you familiar with all the backlash about the trailers?
No.
Okay.
I didn't know that there was any.
Oh, okay. So she came in it with a mindset that she really had no idea what she was doing.
You really
very
went
neutral.
Blank slate.
Yeah,
okay, that's the best way to go into this in a sense.
Right, but keep in mind she went in blank slate and she gave it the lowest score out of the three.
I know.
So,
maybe I don't know how this worked. How did the skills work?
Well,
how does this
work? I'm sticking with my 4.
Yeah, 4 is good.
They got an F. They failed at Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about you, Jeff? I think we talked about it on the show before, but what was your hype level going in?
Well, okay, this is the follow-up to Man of Steel, which I've said before I really enjoyed.
Right.
I know a lot of people have issues with it, but I personally came out from that film enjoying it, enjoying the Superman that we've gotten, enjoying the world that they've kind of built up, and I was hoping that we'd get to see more of that Superman just get built up. Hopefully we got to see the Superman that it's supposed to be Superman, supposed to be super in that sense. So I was hoping for a nice, I guess, follow-up to it. Something that would, justify all the other characters that are going to be added onto it, and we'd further Superman's plot, in a sense. Or Superman and the world in general's plot. So that it would make sense to the lead-up of Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping for that. I was hoping for it to be as entertaining as Man of Steel was for me.
Yeah. And for myself personally, I was hoping for some sort of answer or response to Man of Steel with this movie. Based on the marketing I had seen, it seemed like there was a lot of focus on look how much damage happened in Man of Steel. So now everybody's pissed. Let's deal with that.
Yep.
So that's all I was really expecting. Plus, like, I was really hopeful on Batman.
Yes, you in particular were the most hopeful.
I was on board.
You were completely on board from the start. You were also incredibly hopeful.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I was leaning. I was like, we'll get a follow-up that deals with that. Plus, we'll get hopefully a really dope Batman. I was excited for him.
And that's why I was worried.
and also, we knew there was going to be some sort of Justice League-y stuff.
Right.
I was kind of neutral going in on how I felt about Wonder Woman.
Right.
So I'd like to think I was going in hopeful and with an open mind about what the changes were going to be. I really wanted to love everything.
Yes,
so that I can love more comic books.
Absolutely. And that's the thing that I would discuss with like two of the mates that I went to watch it with on separate times. I was like, I just want them to be good so that as viewers, as fans, we can just enjoy it all.
Right.
Just enjoy it all.
And that makes sense to me. That seems like the right way to go in is be open-minded and
completely.
Hopefully, I was hoping that it would be like legitimately dope, so that it would just push Marvel harder.
Exactly, and push also DC, like so that we could know it's like, all right, cool. DC have a solid foot now of what they want to do, and they're going forward with it.
I wanted the superhero movie equivalent of the Monday Night Wars, like WCW versus WWE, like going for it. Okay, so let's get into what we actually got. I think because you came in with the blankest slate, Kanoe, what did you like about the movie? What did you not like? What were your thoughts going on?
So I think what I liked about the movie was I liked Wonder Woman in the movie. The movie definitely, and I feel bad because she hasn't, come in till later.
Right.
But, I definitely liked Wonder Woman. I thought seeing her part in that movie really made me excited to watch her movie when it comes out. And we were mentioning in the car ride home that her theme, every time she popped up, was like fucking badass.
Dude, yes.
It was super awesome.
You don't know how badly I wanted to say this after the first watching. I was like, dude, her theme is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was so cool. And
it's very metal, man.
It gets me hyped, man. Every time those drums and then that fucking actual riff gun, I was like, oh shit, that's hot. That's dope.
Yeah, that was pretty tight. And I think the concern at the beginning was like, oh, Gal Gadot, she's like super tiny. She's like a skinny supermodel chick or whatever. She's not going to play an Amazonian warrior. But I think she got the point across. There was a lot of her move. Like she wasn't necessarily bulky or strong, but her movements she did were strong, and the way that she she protected herself like she was strong. So I was convinced.
Right.
And yeah, she made me excited to watch the movie. So I definitely liked her. I liked the parts of Batman that we saw him fight, but there weren't many.
Yeah.
I liked some of the scenes of Batman fighting. I feel like I feel like I didn't like Superman. I feel like the whole entire time I didn't like him. And again,
scenes where he's Clark.
I found him very annoying as Clark. Like very just. Yeah, I just didn't really like him as Clark Kent. And even as Superman, I wasn't very impressed or anything like that. But it sucks because we just watched Man of Steel.
Just today we watched Man of Steel.
I think that was the problem because he was great in Man of Steel.
Yeah, and I liked that movie.
Yeah, and what they were establishing, from that, we kind of didn't get.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, so I didn't like as much of it as I wanted to, and I think that was the most disappointing part. And Royce and I were talking in the car that it felt like I don't think the movie was bad. I don't think the movie overall was bad. I just think that the editing for it was not as good.
Yeah.
I think that's really what messed it up, because there was I personally felt that the pacing for it was horrible. I felt that it took way, way, way too long for them to get anywhere, and then when they get to the whole point of the movie, it's done in like a second because of a misunderstanding, basically, or like something.
I think to me, okay, I was really excited about Affleck. Like I said,
Yep.
I wasn't disappointed with him really. I think that all the scenes where he's Bruce Wayne are fine for the majority. And I think all the scenes where he's Batman is fine. I mean, I'm a little bit put off by the fact that Batman's just a fucking murderer now. Uh, but we talked about this before.
Yeah, we did.
Again, I was like, okay, so what if they just embrace Zack Snyder's universe of like, this is a universe where Superman snaps necks. So all the heroes are just going to be murderers. We're the murderer Justice League. In one respect, I'm like, okay, fine, whatever, that's this universe. You just kind of have to go with it and embrace the vision to some degree. So I did that with him, and so I'm like, okay, whatever. What Batman actually did and how he sounded and everything to me was fine. So I will go with them that he's just a murderer now. And like shooting people with guns and stuff. Like, okay, the editing I think is the enemy of this movie. Is the real villain of this movie.
I personally think the real villain of this film is the writing.
Yeah, Kanoe was saying she wasn't impressed with the writing.
Because as much as you can do, like I was telling this to Leonard, I was like, okay, we know Snyder's gonna get a lot of flack for this, but you can only polish and cut up a turd, but it's still gonna be a turd.
Right.
You know, the source, like the fact that it was written that way, the way it is, you can only do so much to the writing to present it.
What part of the writing was bad to you? Like, what in particular in the writing itself was terrible to you?
The characters.
Like how they spoke, like
like
kinds of dialogue you didn't like.
Who the characters aren't really who the characters are supposed to be, or what they've been established, you know, from the get-go in a sense. Like Batman looked like Batman. He didn't really do anything that like he's not really Batman. He looks like Batman. We were like, that's kind of like the Punisher in a bat suit, or like Midnighter, where he did no detective stuff. He hacked into computers using his devices, and it's not really detective skills. He steals shit.
Right, but the stealing and the detective devices is Arkham Batman.
It is okay, fine. His misplaced anger. He was angry. He was so fucking angry at Superman that it wasn't really explained why. Like I understand why he's angry, but like there's that whole scene where he's looking at the Robin outfit. You could have even just noted why he, like, maybe he's angrier because of something like that. It's almost like there's a lot of things that that the writers were probably like plotting here so that it would be paid off in a later film, but it's not really that. It wasn't done well.
It shows to me the difference between the Marvel and DC movies instantly. Okay, this is one going off of the fact that we haven't seen how they plan to pay any of this stuff off, and this is assuming that they have a plan.
I'm hoping they do have a plan.
But without seeing any of that,
it's not good.
It's like like I was saying this to Kanoe earlier too, that it just seemed like a series of scenes to me that weren't necessarily connected.
The first half also dragged.
Yeah, it definitely did. But I don't even know how that's possible.
I don't either, because
how you made it feel like it was dragging on, and that huge chunks of it were missing at a time.
Yeah.
So time would like skip forward, and they just wouldn't explain shit. Like one of the things that bothered me was they went straight from Bruce is like working out and shit, and he's putting together the kryptonite weapon, and then he goes to his old house. And the next scene, he is ready to fight Superman in a huge batsuit thing that came out of fucking nowhere with a whole plan that we didn't even see him come up with. And I think it just seemed disconnected. Like
one of the issues that I was having as well, like both screenings, I'm like, so as soon as Bruce Wayne / Batman realized that, oh, he's not the bad guy, he's just standing there like, oh, my bad, I fucked up. That look where he's just kind of standing there after Lois said, "Oh, his mother's name is Martha."
Oh, that pissed me off.
I was like, so he's just standing there now, like, oh, like he didn't even say anything. His mouth was agape. He was just like, huh.
And why does that change his plan?
That's exactly it. Like if you were that fucking angry at him, that would instantly change your mind. That's why I was like, that writing is so not good.
No,
our moms have the same name.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I guess we're best friends. I guess I'm okay with you now since our mothers share the name.
Right.
I think that plot point was the most frustrating, and I like physically had a reaction to it. It was almost like tossing my hands in the air, like fuck it, whatever.
So many times, it's crazy. So many times I looked to the side and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, no.
I felt like for me that really was a plot point that I hated. And I felt, because what it felt like to me is that you're going through this whole entire movie and they're developing all these things, like Batman is trying to figure out, who the fuck the Portuguese guy, whatever the white Portuguese, whatever that is.
Which was a whole fucking unnecessary plot.
That thing took so long. And once you found out what it was, you're like, are you fucking kidding me? All it was a ship to transport the kryptonite.
That was him being a detective. He remembered white Portuguese and...
Oh, shit. Fucking... Fantastic,
but it's like,
bro.
It felt like a whole... like hour and a half, almost 2 hours of them leading up to this fight with Batman and Superman, and really all Superman had to do at the very beginning was be like, hey, so Lex Luthor wants me to kill you because he's got my mom.
Right.
Just say that.
Yeah, say those words.
Just say those words.
That's what Leonard was saying to me. He's like, couldn't he just have like picked him up to the sky and go, hey, this is what's happening?
Yeah.
Instead, let's.
And he never got the fucking iconic line of dialogue that they read when they announced the fucking movie of like, remember who's the man that could beat you.
Oh,
they skipped all that shit completely
because he was too angry. Wanted to fucking kill him with his spear.
I don't know. It just seemed really fucking bizarre to me. And that was exactly what I said to her, too. I was like, with all that murderous intent, he was ready to kill this alien.
But instantly...
And just finding out that his mom has the same name as your... Okay, granted, Batman's fucked up in the head.
Oh, we know
definitely has issues with his dead parents if he's being a Batman.
Completely.
So, yeah, I don't know, man. The Doomsday.
Oh, God.
I felt like when we talked about what Doomsday was, when I was just speculating what Doomsday was, that to me sounded more compelling and interesting than the Doomsday we got.
The Doomsday we got was incredibly shallow.
It was
a name. It was a name.
It was Zod with Lex Luthor's blood on it.
Mm-hmm. A mutated Zod.
From what? Why did that even happen?
I don't know.
Is there a Kryptonian protocol to turn whatever dead guy that has something spilled on him into a giant monster?
Well,
what the fuck just happened?
What it was the ship, because like remember how Lex Luthor went to the ship and he's like, teach me everything basically, teach me the history of the Kryptonians.
Okay.
He found out that was one of the ancient, I guess it's like forbidden science tasks things to do. It was just a forbidden thing to do.
To do what?
To basically to mutate Kryptonians.
But all he did to mutate it was put his blood on his face.
Because it was a foreign substance.
Hands, like, touched him.
Those are all part of the ship.
And what was the point of him cutting his hand open and bleeding on Zod?
Oh, he needed to introduce a foreign substance to it.
And it couldn't be the fibers on his shirt or a piece of his hair.
Organic.
Here it is, dude. The writing. I don't know.
Writing.
I don't know.
I don't like Right.
I think when we walked out of it, it was very funny because it was very quiet.
Yeah,
the whole movie was quiet.
Right.
We didn't see it with a full crowd, like because we were there for the earliest
full
possible
crowd
show. There was people there, obviously, but the whole theater was dead silent. They did not react to anything. I heard
they don't
people
know how to react to it.
I heard people laugh when Batman said, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
And that was like the only reaction I got.
And it was also weird, like when he saved Clark's mom, and he's like, "Oh, I figured because of the cape."
Mm-hmm.
Right.
People
Like,
chuckled
react-
there as well, and I'm like, that seems like for a film series where they were saying no, it's all serious here. Those seem like random.
Yeah, that's why I was telling
Yeah.
Kanoe. I was like, if it's all the jokey stuff,
Felt
and especially the line from the fucking trailer, I thought she was
Yeah.
with you, whatever. It just seemed like someone was like, hey, just make it a little bit more Marvel-y or whatever.
Something like, can we just liven this up because this film is way too serious.
It just, that tone came out of fucking nowhere.
That's
it
exactly
just,
because it wasn't natural, dude.
Yeah, I don't know.
Also, question, because it was fresh to you guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? Because me and Lennon still don't know what the fuck was it about. Clark's in the mountain. He sees his vision of a
Oh.
Yeah, that was a huge fucking waste of time. That's
Yeah.
what that was about.
The thing was,
that was about them in the first movie in Man of
Right.
Steel. They tried to make Pa Kent Uncle Ben.
he was. Also, I was like, why is he doing an Uncle Ben here? He's telling him, it's like, oh, just because you think you did something good, someone's still going to pay the price for it. Like, just because you're doing good here, you know, shit
Right,
still
it was
happens.
the great power, great responsibility.
Yep. Shit still
conversation.
happens, bro.
And that's not even what. Okay, so like, okay,
I'm a ghost.
obviously
Or a vision,
the first
some
Superman,
shit.
the Christopher Reeves one, they handled Pa Kent's death
Still
perfect.
the best. Yep, perfect.
He had a heart attack and he died.
Yep.
There was nothing Superman could do to save him. It had nothing to do with him making a sacrifice or whatever.
Yes.
It was a natural thing that happened to him.
That's one of the
and
things
he
that
felt
annoys me about Man of
powerless
Steel.
to do anything about it.
That was one of the
was perfect.
most annoying things of Man of Steel.
Yeah, I just and because of that, we're continuing with this fucking Uncle Ben shit with Pa Kent. Unnecessary.
It was a waste of.
It was a waste of time.
Also, dude, that scene at the start where Kid Bruce falls down, and then he
Oh
starts
my God.
floating into the bat.
Dude,
You know what Leonard said
that
after
went
that?
on for so
Yeah.
long.
Do you know what Leonard said after that? Is like, you know what? That scene set the tone for the entire film.
Yeah.
It really did.
It was like, what is like?
Wow.
Well, how many fucking slow motions?
Yeah.
Well, it is Zack Snyder we're
I
talking
get
about.
that, but it's like this is why the film was like 2.5 hours.
Everything was in
Yeah.
slow mo.
He loves these slow mos.
Yeah.
Dude, the next movie is supposed to start filming next month.
Do you think, all right, based on, because you know they're gonna get heaps of reception,
Dude,
heaps of
the
negative stuff.
response is
Yeah.
gonna be
Do
bananas.
you think they're gonna change what their plan is?
It's
The response is gonna be crazy. I just don't even know what happens after this.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, as soon as it was over, I was looking at Len, I was like, fuck, DC's fucked.
Can you believe they did the fucking Death of Superman story?
What? Yeah, exactly. It was like, what the fuck? And they're showing that he's gonna rise again at the very end. I was like, wow, they really put a lot into this thing. They tried to squeeze so much shit.
They did. It felt okay. Oh fuck,
And
dude.
remember when we first heard that Batman was going to be introduced into this? Because originally it was going to be the Man of Steel sequel, and I was like, cool, I'm looking forward to it. And then when we found out that Batman was going to be introduced, I was like, oh no, because now it's like we need to change the pace of things. And you found out Wonder Woman. It's like no, it's not a Superman sequel anymore. Now it's a precursor to Justice League. And I was like, I don't like this. I'm worried because I'm like, it feels like now they have to play catch up, and because of that, they're not really pacing themselves. They don't have a pace for themselves at all. They kind of like need to put a bunch of these things together because they're doing it and they're doing it well. Or like, we've got a team too. Let's make a team. I don't know. Like, they put so much into, like, this film was so bizarre because, okay, it's called BvS, so we thought it was going to be Batman versus Superman, but then it's like subtitled Dawn of Justice, so it's like, okay, so this is going to be before Justice League. But in this film, that very end part, it felt like, oh yeah, by the way, let's make it a Superman story again.
Yeah,
Let's have him be the hero, but then sacrifice himself, so he actually gets killed by Doomsday. Let's remove the whole Doomsday plot where that could have been a second Superman film. No, let's just do it before Justice League. And in Justice League 1, he's not there, but he'll come back again in Justice League 2. Perfect. This is it, guys, right? I don't know.
I don't even know, dude. The fact that they did the death of Superman story is so bizarre to me. Like, okay, like I knew Doomsday was gonna be in it, but I was like, okay, so they'll be all together at the end. That's how they defeat Doomsday, and that he doesn't kill Superman or whatever. So they're kind of avoiding the one-on-one conflict that would have needed to happen in order for Superman to die. And so I was like, I justified it in my mind. And then what we actually got was the death of Superman story, like randomly tucked into elements from The Dark Knight Returns.
Yep.
And like randomly thrown in with a like a commercial for Wonder Woman's movie.
And honestly, as what Kanoe was saying before, I actually got excited. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the Wonder Woman film now.
I am too. I was the whole time.
I was too, but like
Cap's movie to me.
Absolutely.
It seemed like First Avenger, but with Thor.
Like when they first showed that photo of it, I was like, oh shit, and the music started coming in. I was like, okay, I'm good for this.
Right.
I'm ready for this thing.
When the music hit the first time and it was just the photo, the music seemed bizarre to me.
It seems different.
It seemed like a remix of the like 1970s Wonder Woman theme, kind of.
All I know is that it's not the same one it's not the same one as her final music.
It's definitely more.
It has elements of it, but it's not the same thing. That's why I was like, cause I'm looking at the soundtrack now. I was like, it's not even there. But when they showed the photo, I was like, okay, I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that one. And
but yeah, that movie looked interesting to me, but it did seem like a commercial for that movie inside of The Dark Knight Returns, inside of Death of Superman story.
And another thing, also, the scene where she's in a hotel, Batman had sent all those files and all those scenes of the other, like Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman. I was like, that felt so forced.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, we got a team, guys. I understand the whole meta-human type thing that they have to introduce because they want to obviously fast-track Justice League. But that whole scene where they're showing all those videos, I was like, or the fucking Flash vision in Batman's dream. What the fuck was that?
What the fuck was that?
What the fuck was that?
So fucking weird. What was
it? Was a dream in a dream?
Like a big ass armor thing.
Yeah.
And he.
It was a vision in a dream. What the fuck was that? Because he woke up, then he woke up again, and I'm like, what are you doing to this movie? What's wrong with it? What's going on with the writing? Like, really, what are they... Like, this was approved.
Yeah.
This was approved. That's what I was like,
this is also with them bringing in an Oscar-winning writer.
Chris Terrio.
Yeah, to do extra work on it.
In the end, I was like... Because, like, written by Chris Terrio and David Goyer, and I was like, David Goyer is a fucking hack.
Yeah, David Goyer is the problem.
This solidifies why he's a piece of shit. I mean, I was like... And Leonard's like, what do you got against him? I'm like, dude, Blade 3.
Blade 3 and a whole bunch of shit from the Nolan movies.
Yes, lots of shit, exactly. It's like, and that's how like people like, oh, he must be good because he worked on the Nolan films, and I'm like, I promise you, he didn't.
He was the worst part of the fucking Nolan films. Does nobody remember the weird shit that is in those movies?
That's most likely.
They literally had him flying all around with a giant bomb, like a recreation of him running on the harbor with the bomb, with the bat bomb. It's just.
I'm telling you, it's they need to get rid of Goya. I know everyone's like Zack Snyder's at fault, and I'm like, okay, he has to work with what he's got, and what he has was that.
I
don't know. Yeah.
But okay,
that flash scene. What the fuck was that?
That flash scene was so fucking random and bizarre to me, dude. And the whole time all I could think was, wow, that looks fucking weird. His suit looks. Yeah. What is he got on him? A bunch of metal pieces.
Opened up, his face opened up, and you could see his regular face, and I was like, what is this? Like a time suit or some shit? Like, does he need a suit so he can go through these different worlds? I don't even know.
And then the look of the character.
When
they showed him fighting a dude in the store.
Yep.
I just wasn't expecting Barry Allen with like a man bun and a dirty fucking mustache or whatever. I am so confused right now.
I don't know, man.
This movie got pushed for hella long.
It got pushed, and then it got, afterwards I was like, oh, they would be fucking killing themselves if they had released this the same day as Civil War.
Dude, it would have gotten... Okay, so we don't even still know what the response to this is going to be, because technically the movie doesn't even come out for another few hours.
Well, you've got advanced response, obviously, based on different countries that it's out in already, and plus, previews.
Right, but we've gotten little critic reviews, but I mean from the fans.
Oh, yeah. Public response? Like, full public? Like, we'll know after the weekend.
Like, this movie felt very similar to me to what Amazing Spider-Man 2 felt like to me.
Yep. It's almost identical at this point.
Yeah, like with the shoehorned in villain at the end, with all the like trying to like force all these new plot lines to make, because they're trying to start a franchise in one movie.
It's not,
because you got to keep in mind, Jeff, when Man of Steel came out, that was still with the intention that maybe it could work with Nolan's movies. That tone that they established in that movie was set up for one thing. And then in this movie, because they wanted to do a Marvel thing and still fit with that Man of Steel tone, they clashed so hard in the middle that it just seemed like it exploded into pieces and they were just kind of scattered everywhere. As cool looking as all that Apocalypse stuff was with the paratrooper or whatever they're called.
Darkseid and his
parademons,
his parademons.
That stuff looked interesting.
And it looked great in IMAX, by the way, dude.
It felt like they filmed it later and were like, we gotta start this franchise, yo.
Yeah, I don't even know, man.
That was more of like, if this is like a future scenario that we're trying to prevent with whatever the Flash scene was, Batman's still like shooting people with guns and snapping dudes' necks and shit. And in this scenario, Superman has soldiers for some reason.
Because he's a bad guy. He's a bad guy, dude.
But because Lois died, like, is it an alternate future where it's like the Injustice universe? Was that an alternate dimension, or was that a future?
I don't know.
I don't even know what just happened, dude. It's so fucking weird.
Dude, I've watched it twice and I still don't, like, there's still questions. I'm like, what is going on?
It's just so weird. Okay, let's try, just for an exercise of science. Tell me some positives. What did you like about the movie?
I already mentioned what I liked.
What did you like about the movie, Jeff?
I do like, again, I'm looking forward to Wonder Woman now. I love the soundtrack. That's what I've been listening to since the first screening. And if there's any bloody positives from this film, it is that I got more of that soundtrack.
Yeah, well,
it was it was a fucking fantastic follow-up to Man of Steel, and now we got additional stuff, and you can hear like the build-up and stuff. So that's like, and it sucks that that's one of my primary positives from this.
But that was also one of my primary positives from Amazing Spider-Man 2. Was
right,
the music.
See? The music. And Batman looked cool, but that's not really Batman. Superman, he was very, like, mopey the whole film.
We're still on positives.
Yeah, I'm trying to come up with positives, bro.
I liked the one fight scene I liked with Batman was the one where he was saving his mom, Superman's mom.
Which should have been at the beginning of the movie.
I thought.
Oh, that's what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I thought the sequence.
Those trailers are garbage.
Yep.
I thought the sequence though was really cool, and like watching him fight like that was, I think that was very cool to see. I was like, oh shit, he's like that fighting a version of him I liked.
It did feel like watching an Arkham game.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Positives. I did like the action in this film. I thought but the thing is, I came to it knowing that I would enjoy the action. So is that even something that I should mention?
I don't know. I mean, if you liked it, I think you should mention it, because other than that Batman scene, I did not like the action in this movie.
I like the shots of them showing like Wonder Woman fighting Doomsday.
I thought that looked garbage.
It was fine. Like it wasn't terrible. It was a very poorly choreographed fight though. Like compared to Man of Steel.
It was all at night. Mm-hmm. With smoke and shit everywhere and a huge CGI environment. Nothing felt real. Some of the poses were cool because it felt very comic booky, but nothing felt real. So the whole scene, I had no stakes in that fight whatsoever by the time we got to it. I did not feel any, like the whole time I was watching it, I was like, man, all this would be crazy if I cared.
Right?
And like the Doomsday stuff just seemed so out of nowhere.
All right, positives then.
That
if you got any positives.
So my positive, I loved Batman. I had zero problems with Batman other than that he was a murderer.
So his character wasn't. You weren't really happy with.
No, I liked his character. I think that they justified how pissed he was at Superman in the very beginning of the movie by establishing that he was there when the shit was going down, and he watched him murder like a gajillion people that were part of his staff.
It's a shame the resolution was garbage.
And it was the resolution was garbage because it was all hinged on his mom coincidentally having the same fucking name as Superman's mom.
Although to turn that quickly was just so fucking weird.
It was, and like he seemed not at all bothered by Lois Lane standing there with half of his face showing.
Nope. And also, does everyone know each other at this point?
I just
know
the turn from I'm gonna murder you to literally saying I'm a friend of your son's.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
It was within
because they established he had 10 fucking minutes to beat the shit out of all those people. Save her, and just from when he left about to murder her son.
Oh yeah, completely. Like he was gonna stab him in the face.
Yeah, and all of that changed because Lex Luthor wanted them to kill each other.
He was also the fact that he was manipulated by Lex Luthor this simply. Like it's almost like he fed him the anger, like because he knew he was angry, so he was just like, I'm gonna keep feeding that anger. Like you're gonna.
And I know to do it.
Yeah.
Like, so did Lex know that he was Batman the entire time?
Yes. At this point, yes.
I think he did, yeah.
Because like he knew to get in the pocket of the guy that Batman saved in the or like Bruce Wayne saved in the crowd.
He knows it. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, does everyone know who the fuck each other are?
It was just so confusing, dude.
But to mention that scene,
guy, go ahead.
That scene,
the legless dude.
Yeah, the legless guy. The explosion in the courtroom or whatever was pretty.
Wow.
Yeah, I was not expecting that at all.
That whole scene was like, what the fuck? Like, why did this happen?
Well, I mean, it makes sense why it happened.
Yeah, but like that's crazy.
But to get and they murdered Mercy.
Everybody.
What did they? There was all this go ahead.
I thought that part was really, really crazy. It was very surprising. We weren't expecting it.
It was a shocking twist.
I think the part about it that I liked the most was kind of like there was the face they showed on Superman after it happened. Like he was like, "Fuck, god damn it!"
Yeah. That's exactly. It's like, fucking hell. Why? Damn it! I tried to be good here.
Yeah.
You know, I went to a court and everything, and all of a sudden, everyone is dead, and I'm in fire.
The reveal of the jar of piss, was effective.
Very.
At making Lex Luthor a dickhead.
Yep. Her acting was great there.
It was, and she's a good actress.
Yeah, that's why she sold that shit. Yeah.
This is to continue my positives. I actually liked Batman quite a bit, except for the murdering. I actually, for whatever reason, I liked Lex Luthor. I was not really bothered by him, other than the fact that none of his motivation really came together for me at the end.
That's right.
And he suddenly switched to very, very insane at the end of it.
At the very
like he was always kind of weird and twitchy, but he was very insane by the end of it.
With like his nose dripping and everything.
But I didn't necessarily dislike the mannerisms of the character or the visual of the character didn't bother me. Just that it really did seem like they just cut fuck tons out of this movie because it was all so.
I'm really concerned. I'm curious about what this R rating is going to be because it says half an hour.
Yeah, and I feel like that half-hour R rating shit was literally to capitalize on Deadpool while everybody was thinking, like, all R ratings are dope, and, like, by the way, before you see what we put out, there is a longer version you can watch later.
Do you think the longer version will explain things better?
Yeah, I think that they were trying to, like, save themselves a little bit ahead of time, like, just to soften the blow. If you don't like it, there's a version where there's more stuff. I just don't know, dude. I don't know how to feel because I really liked Affleck's Batman. So I
actually think as Bruce as Batman, he was good. The whole anger thing, it was overpowering. You know, I didn't get to see it.
It was overpowering, but
again, when he was like smooth Bruce at the actual, when he was smooth Bruce at like the parties and stuff, I was like, that's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
the espionage stuff I did.
Yeah, we need more of that. That's good.
But it made me excited for the potential of his movie by himself if he's in control and directing it and shit. Maybe that gives me some hope. Maybe I think at very most I hope that he got some tips on the action and stuff from working on this as far as Batman's fight choreography.
Right. I'm sure he's gonna.
I hope it's a very different thing. For Wonder Woman, I enjoyed her as well.
Yep.
None of her stuff really bothered me except for because the fight at the end was so gross looking to me. I couldn't enjoy her action at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, she cut some limbs off and stuff, but it was hard to kind of force a lot of personality into that little bit. But again, it made me excited for what her thing could be.
Mm-hmm.
I liked her interactions with Bruce.
I did, yeah. I think that she handled herself well.
I think she was actually like, I mean, a lot of people were concerned about her from the beginning, but based on like what people are saying now, and they're actually looking forward to that one quite a bit.
Right.
And the new photo that just came out of the Amazonians.
Yeah, we saw that too.
Yeah, so people are like, okay, I'm actually down for it. That could be good. Like, we only got like a snippet of her from this film, but if based on this snippet, it just follows through that, and obviously it's going to be like a period piece type thing.
Right.
Could be
it
great.
Feels like First Avengers to me.
Which, mind you, people, like, my mate yesterday I was speaking to, he fucking hated First Avenger. I was like, what were you watching, dude?
Yeah, I liked that first Captain.
Like, first Cap, I go, without that first Cap film, we wouldn't have got who he was in Avengers, and then obviously what he became in Winter Soldier. So
right, and I think that if it does kind of fit in that vein, I think it works for her
completely.
To do like a World War I story and then show how she got to now. All that stuff kind of appeals to me, and I think that looks cool. The Themyscira stuff looks cool, so I'm excited for those characters, those two characters, Batman and Wonder Woman in particular.
What do you think of Aquaman, that little thing that we got?
I wasn't really impressed by that, but I don't think that gives us any clue of what his movie could be. It was just they saw a dude in the water and that he can swim hella fast.
Yeah, like a fucking bullet in the ocean.
Right.
And Cyborg was that CG
cool.
thing.
Cyborg was the fucking weirdest one to me. That just seemed so bizarre. They got the dude from Terminator 2.
I know, that's what I was like, what the fuck? Is this linked to Terminator?
Yeah.
Breathing in the corner.
And the fact that he's making like a cyborg man.
I know, that's why I was like, this is Terminator written all over it.
Yeah, so that was like funny to me, but I couldn't tell what the fuck he was gonna look like based on like a couple body parts strung up on a wall.
Like he was essentially just the top part of his torso just hanging there for a bit.
But dude, remember all that shit about the football jerseys?
Yep, none of that. Where the fuck was that? Oh,
they had to cut so much out of this fucker.
Like you remember when Perry gave Clark that article
to go do the football story.
The football thing, and he's like, but what about what's going on in fucking Gotham? He's like, no, that's not important. Do the football thing. That football thing was like the only mention of that.
Yeah, and it didn't even go.
Nope.
And so I was like, oh, that'll be where they introduce the Victor character before they make him cyborg or whatever.
Yeah.
Skipped all that.
It's so weird. I'm like, I thought that they cast them so that we can see them before they become whatever they become.
And literally the first piece of anything that we got from this movie was the jerseys for the two opposing teams.
Right, and that wasn't never shown.
It wasn't even there. It just felt so chopped up to me that that's why I can't even necessarily blame the writing, because I don't know what the real writing is, because I felt like they cut so much out of that fucking thing.
I do blame the writing for what we got. That's all I'm going to be basing this on, of what we received. This film that I watched, I don't like the writing. I was
trying to find out what writing parts in particular you didn't like, because to me, like, if it's down to dialogue,
story,
I liked the dialogue.
The story seemed, the pacing of the story wasn't really good. The whole.
But you don't think that means editing? That the pacing was fucked up?
But again, like, it all comes to play. The source is the first step is the writing, though.
But I feel like if I write a novel and you cut out 18 pages of it, that could change the entire way that you look at the story. Then it's not my writing's fault. It's whoever took those pages out.
Again, you're not listening to me. What I'm saying is that I'm only basing what I feel regarding the writing of what I watched. However it was edited, that's what I'm going to be basing it on. I can't base it on what was cut out and stuff, because that's not what I'm watching. That's not what I've been presented with.
I guess
I can only base it on what
it
I've been
doesn't
saying.
erase it to me.
Oh well, it does to me because that's what they gave us.
I don't know, dude. Because look what happened to Fantastic Four.
Right.
To me, I don't go, that was a writing issue. To me, that was a studio pulled all kinds of shit out of it and forced all kinds of shit into it, and it fucked the movie up problem. But, I don't know. I just don't know how to feel because I liked those two characters. All the other Justice League stuff just didn't, it's not that I didn't like it, it just didn't matter to me. I think that's what the summation of the whole thing is.
That's the crux
is
of it.
that as cool as some stuff looked, none of it mattered to me.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't I don't care. Well, what that's the thing that I'm coming out with. Like I really didn't give a shit.
Yeah, I think that's what I said too when we were leaving the theater and when we were driving home. I was like, you know what? Because for me, I don't know much about these characters overall, so I don't have a lot to base it on.
Right.
But I don't think the movie sucked. But I think as a comic book fan who's a fan of superhero movies now, I think it sucked. As a fan, I think it sucked.
Right.
But not that the movie sucked, not that the character sucked or anything like that, but just it was a very underwhelming movie for me. And I left the movie being like, well, fuck.
I left the movie going like, fuck, I can't wait to see Civil War.
Yeah. The thing is that I was more disappointed by this because I'm like, they had the potential to do so good.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that there was another thing I mentioned too before was just that, it sucks just the timing of all this because we've already had a lot of really solid movies from Marvel and they had a lot of competition going into this. So, they just, and with the anticipation of Civil War coming out and everyone's so fucking stoked for that movie and this is kind of like a version of that or like a preemptive version of that, but yeah, they had a lot to compete with and so it really fell flat compared to what
they dropped the ball.
Yeah.
And I just like all that shit about like, oh, there was a standing ovation for the fucking movie at the executive office when they showed it, and like,
is it all lies?
Fans went and saw it early, and all of them fucking loved it. Yada yada. That same thing happened when Spider-Man 2 came out.
It's almost identical of what happened to that.
Yeah,
it's gonna make money though. This film's gonna make money.
Well, fuck yeah.
It's gonna make money this first week.
Oh yeah, this first
I don't
week.
think it doesn't have replay value for me. For me, anyways.
Yeah, we left it going like maybe we should see it again to fully digest it, and Kanoe kept saying, "But I just don't know if I want to see it again." And I was like, "Well,
if you're gonna watch it again, give it time."
Tickets. We
have free
movie tickets. We're like, we'll use that. And she was like, "I don't even know if I want to waste free movie tickets."
Oh shit. Yeah, no, I get where you're coming from because like. It's what it was, and if it didn't really leave you feeling anything strongly positive towards it, you kind of just like, oh, that was.
And I've never felt that way. Every single other movie that I've come out with, we end up seeing it again. Usually, we end up seeing it again because we're so excited after we see it. But this one, really, I was just like, I don't even know what I just watched. Like, I don't know what just happened. And
mind you, right? I only watched it the second time because I had already purchased the tickets. I wouldn't have watched it that soon after. If I was to watch it again. But I am glad I did watch it again, though.
Yeah.
If I did go see it again, I want to see it in 2D.
Yeah. I would recommend 2D, and also I would recommend IMAX.
I don't know if I want to pay the
That's
extra.
the problem. I was like, again, I had already pre-purchased the tickets, so I was like, okay. The first time I watched it in 3D, it was fine, but the IMAX experience was so much more better for this film. Even though some of the IMAX scenes, I was like, why the fuck was that filmed in IMAX?
Right.
That first scene, the opening scene where he's walking, in Wayne's, we're walking in that funeral type thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
That whole thing was IMAX.
Yeah,
like,
I just
him flying,
don't know, dude.
Baby Bruce flying, IMAX.
Like another part that I thought was like, I don't know, weird, I guess, was just, I mean, the main complaint from in the movie was that when Superman was there and he was fighting with Zod or whatever, they fucking destroyed the city. But I feel like in this version,
learn any lessons
they were worse.
They destroyed fucking heaps here. I think, although Bruce did say this area is abandoned.
But don't you feel like that was just them putting that in there to be like, oh, by the way, it makes it okay that we're blown up
completely.
Like Doomsday's
his
superpower
pulse
move
thing
or whatever.
or
He's
whatever.
like his like huge pulse thing. I was like, that fucks shit up hella far away.
That was like a bomb going off.
Yeah.
That little harbor thing. That's all he said was, "Oh, this pier or harbor or whatever is not occupied." But they blew up way more.
They just fucking destroyed it. Like every time Doomsday did that explosion shit.
Yeah.
I was like, destroyed everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's go
especially
nuke him.
Yeah, they were like, they even asked, like, why did you come back to the city? I needed the weapon. Then grab the weapon, then leave.
Yeah, I don't know.
Then make him go the other way, or or just take the weapon with you. Like whoever wrote it, they
There we go.
intentionally wrote
Writing.
a way back. That was one of the writing things
Right.
that bothered me, is because again, it felt like the kind of shit that happened with Doctor Doom at the end of Fantastic Four.
Which I think comes down to the writing. Like, I don't care who's involved with the writing part, but even after all the editing and them rewriting, that's still part of the writing. The whole
Right, but I mean, to me that seems like forced in stuff after the fact. Like
still the writing.
It is, but I don't know who's writing.
Well,
I can't be like, well,
again,
Chris Terrio's fault because he did blah blah blah.
I'm not blaming Chris Terrio. All I know is that every film that's pretty shit that has Goya involved, I'm like, Goya. I might have something against him, but I'm always looking like.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't know, man.
I like him. He needs to stop doing this shit. The whole scene where Lois Lane went to go grab the spear from the water again, I was like, wouldn't that have been an opportune time to have Aquaman?
I thought he was gonna be like, bring up the spear, like, I got it for you.
Like, I know it's like, some people might say that felt forced, and I'm like, it's in the water. You already showed him.
She's gonna die.
I mean, like, you're gonna do Justice League next anyways. Why the fuck not? You've already gone this far with the film.
Yeah, man.
He has like super underwater hearing, right? Couldn't he? Yeah.
Who knows what the fuck this Aquaman is? If this is what they're giving us right now, dude, I don't know.
What is Cyborg gonna be? Like a fucking Matrix character?
I don't know. I hope they don't give that motherfucker his own movie, though. He really doesn't need one.
Nope.
Not by himself. I don't know. I just don't know. It's all I have for it. I was the whole time, like, I wanted to just be, when we left the movie, I just wanted to feel stoked.
Right.
Like,
happy.
fuck, yeah. I'm glad that happened. And
well, confused.
I literally felt like I was walking out defeated.
Yeah, like what happened?
Like I was hearing the sad Charlie Brown music in my head the whole time I was walking out. And I don't know how that happened. I just really don't. After that, they had like a whole extra fucking year.
Yeah. I walked out going, what just happened?
Mm-hmm.
What just happened? Like, it looked so promising. It looked like I was hopeful for this. Yeah. And I still am slightly, but now at this point I'm just like, I don't even care. Like, I want to care. That's the thing. I want to care. But I can't, I'm watching him. I know that much.
I want this to be like a blight on the record, and them take it as a lesson. Like, that was our first attempt. This is the feedback. This is the feedback. Let's figure it out now.
Mm-hmm.
Because it felt a little bit, as much as it really reminded me of Amazing Spider-Man 2, the structure of the whole thing, how they tried to implant all the universe stuff, really felt similar. And it also reminded me a bit of Iron Man 2. Because that movie was also, like, it is one of the ones in the Marvel roster that people like less. Mm-hmm. And it's very much because it was a commercial for all the shit they wanted to do.
Right.
And so I feel like that was, I just don't know, like, look at all the animated shit that Warner Brothers puts out.
That's what Leonard and I were talking about. It's like, how the fuck could they do this in a live action with this big of a budget, with this many people involved, yet in the animated films, Justice League War was a better film than this.
It was. Just get those writers and then film it.
That's like, he's like, you can film this frame by frame and it would still be so much better.
Yeah, with the same amount of introduction of all the characters.
Exactly. That's why I was like, it felt so weird, because I'm like, Justice League War essentially is a one-off film. It could be a one-off film. You could show it to somebody and be like, yep, this is it. That would have been an awesome Justice League movie.
Does it make you feel different about Suicide Squad?
That's the thing. I saw the trailer before it, and I was like, okay, but my care about Suicide Squad was just like, I'm going to watch it because it's a comic book movie, and I can't help myself.
Right.
And, it could be good. It could be good. But right now, I don't care what's going to happen in it. I don't care if any of them die, the characters die. I don't care Or if it's like, oh yeah, he's the main character, he becomes a good guy, or like Joker's in it, he's cool and all. It's like I don't really care. Like if it's cool, then it's cool. Then that's awesome. But right now, don't give a shit. I'm watching it, but I just don't even care.
That's one that I feel like I'm going into really fucking excited for, and I'll be so bummed because I like that story anyways. So and that's one, that's the one that I like read, and I've seen the animated one, the version or whatever they did, and
Attack on Arkham, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one I'm really, really fucking excited for. And if it sucks as bad as this fucking sucks, I'm gonna be so. I'm gonna be more sad because I'm like DC again. Can't you get one right? I just can't imagine them messing that up. I feel like they have a solid.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. But beforehand, I was already like, when we talked about it on the podcast before, I was saying I'm more excited for Suicide Squad than I am for Batman v Superman. I'm still holding out that that's going to be good because I liked Batman, and if his side of the universe is handled better, then I can live with that. But it makes me so terrified for the Justice League movie because Chris Terrio's still writing on it, but he's already said he's not even sure if he'd want to do a second one. Like he's anticipating people are going to fucking hate this, and it's okay. As much as I want to stick up for Zack Snyder. He used the name that it says it's a Zack Snyder film.
That's the thing. He's the face of this.
Before the writing, before the editing,
yep,
he's captain of the ship. Mm-hmm. And I can't take a bullet for him on this one because I even bought and enjoy Sucker Punch.
Dude.
And everyone hates that fucking
I like Sucker Punch. I really enjoyed Watchmen.
But this one, it just felt like too many cooks.
Yeah, too many cooks.
It felt very much like that.
Way too many cooks.
And it just felt like that's what it felt like to me overall. It was really just like it was just too much at once. It was too much at once.
Mm-hmm.
I think that my overall problem with the movie was the pacing, and I don't think there were too many. Pacing. I don't think there were too many cooks, but I think that if they had cut out like the whole fucking first hour of the movie and just kind of skipped it and started much later, and they could have added more cooks, and I would be okay with it. But I think the pacing of you waited for so long for that fight scene at the end to happen, and then when it happened, it was just bullshit, and then kind of, we're trying to fix it at the very, very end. Like it felt like just so much blank space. The fight happened, and then they tried to like make it really cool, and then done.
How short was the third act? How short did it feel?
Yeah. Right, very, very fat, very short.
It felt like it happened all instantaneously.
Yes.
Right, like everything happened, and all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, what the fuck did we just watch? Like 2 hours, maybe almost 2 hours.
The whole fucking movie, and they're like
fucking nothing.
The whole movie, and at the very end, you're like, wait, no, he's dead. No, wait, what?
Because you know what I really fucking think happened. Is I think that they were gonna do just a Batman v Superman movie.
Wish they did, man.
And then too many cooks, and they started fucking it. But you gotta have them come together at the end of this movie because people will think it's weird if the whole movie is just them fighting each other. So they've got to have something, and then throw in Doomsday, and then we can do like a Death of Superman thing, and we're like, we'll even make the casket black with the silver.
I don't know, yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna come. I was like that. They're hinting at this shit, and I'm like, I can't believe last 5 minutes they managed to just fucking squeeze that Death of Superman in.
It just was, oh my god, it was just so much at once, dude.
Yeah, too many things going on. Like they really wanted to, they forced too many things into this one film that originally started off as one thing.
Yeah, and as much as it reminded me of it, I think Amazing Spider-Man 2 actually holds up better than this one did.
It does. Sure. It really does.
And that's fucking weird. It's so fucking weird. Like, Warner Brothers owns DC. This is like Marvel. If Marvel had owned all their characters and they made their own movies,
as well.
That's what had just happened, and it was terrible.
Yeah. And that's why I'm like, and people are like, oh, DC's playing catch-up. I'm like, this doesn't make sense to me because why should DC be the one that's playing catch-up? They've earned the rights to all their characters since forever.
Because they want to be making those Avengers dollars now.
They should have fucking planned ahead.
They don't want to build up.
See, they're idiots. They should have fucking just looked to the future and planned ahead.
Yeah, and they should have said, why did those movies work? Why did the Marvel movies work?
Yeah.
Not because it's all the characters at once.
Yeah, but that's why it works, guys. And like, oh shit, Deadpool R-rated. Let's just do that too then.
But if nothing else, the Marvel movies, by putting them all out one at a time, got you to invest in each of the characters.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't go see all the movies,
Made you
it
give a
got
shit.
you to invest in the build of look at all these characters we're unveiling, and then look at them all together.
Yeah.
Whereas we had no time for that. They said, here was Superman, and here's everybody else.
Like, do you remember the end of Iron Man when Nick Fury came to screen?
Right.
And said, "I got something about the Avengers Initiative." You remember how exciting that was?
Man. And that was just them saying the words. They didn't have to show us anybody.
They didn't show anybody. I mean, the fact that we at that point we hadn't got a Captain America film, a Thor film, or any of the other fucking characters.
Oh, I cannot
wait. How
wait.
exciting that one sentence was. I was like, oh shit, that means this might happen. That means we might get an Avengers one day.
To be fair, though, when that happened, it was the first anybody had heard of it.
Yeah.
And nobody saw it coming.
Yeah.
With this one, they announced it. Like, I cannot wait to see what happens with that slate they announced with all those movies.
That's my problem. And I'm like, I think we might have been talking about this couple of previous episodes where, like, them announcing all these films, I miss the days when we didn't fucking know.
Right.
Yeah.
Surprise us.
Yeah.
Like, how sick would it have been if we didn't find out there was going to be an Infinity War movie until we saw.
To be honest, I would have loved that, but obviously we can't erase that.
Yeah, we don't live in that age.
We don't live in that age anymore because now it's like everyone needs to know. I do miss those times where it's just like, in the end of the film, it was like, oh shit, here's a stinger for the after credits, and it's like, what? I can't wait for that.
Yeah, man. And I don't know, dude. Like, as much as I gave it a 6 because
I give it a 6. Yeah.
Which is I'm pretty sure that's still a D.
Yeah, it's C minus, D plus.
Like, it's definitely not a C minus, but
it's a D. I think it's a D.
If you get a D, you still pass.
Yeah.
Because I still want to see more of the universe.
Yeah, it's not an F for me because an F means I don't even care anymore.
Right.
And that's not the case. I want them to make me give a shit again.
Yeah, but it's just not it was definitely not the best first impression I could have had.
Which sucks because I was like, Man of Steel left me with such a positive outlook. It made me hopeful because I was like, oh crap, like if that was that, I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I enjoyed it. I like that Superman. I like where it was going, and I'm like, cool, this could be great. That means we can get a whole DC cinematic universe where, as fans, we get to enjoy them all.
And how sick was, like, in Man of Steel, you got to see, like, that whole fight that happened in Smallville and, like, Theora, like, speeding all over the place.
I'm gonna watch it again and be like, that was so good.
And that shits over what we got with Doomsday because all of that was at night in smoke.
Also, the Batman versus Superman fight wasn't good.
It wasn't. It was Superman getting his ass whipped for a second. Kryptonite goes off. Batman whips his ass for a second. Kryptonite wears off. Superman wins for a second. It wasn't a fight, really. It was just them taking turns whooping each other's ass one-sidedly.
Just taking and I'm like, that's Avengers. I know I don't want to compare it to Avengers. Like, let's just even compared to the Man of Steel fights. You know, it was in the light. There was a lot that was happening.
The look of Doomsday didn't end up bothering me.
No, he actually looked fine. I like when his bones grew.
Yeah, I think he looked fine.
Yeah.
I like that they didn't just make him a carbon copy of Hulk.
Right. And oddly enough, that was like, I know on the trailer everyone's like, oh, he looks garbage. That was one of the least of my issues of this film.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily give a shit what he looked like.
I mean, him being in here was more of an issue.
And just how it happened to me. Yeah. That's still, like, as much as you're like, you read about Krypton and then put blood on it. No. I
think your explanation is like the one that we were discussing before. Yeah. Where it's like, oh, he wanted to test on him and then it triggered, what was it? It triggered a safety device in him.
Yeah, I wanted him to create it like, I'm creating this as a doomsday device. Like, from the beginning, that was his intention with the Zod body, is I want to create something that can fight Superman if he ever goes crazy or whatever.
Or even like, where it's, because he was testing on him, every Kryptonian warrior has that device in them where they become the Doomsday device.
Even so, even if it was that, it would
Those
have
two
been
already
fine
is
with me in
better than what
comparison.
we got.
To just, I'm gonna cut my hand and,
Yep.
and drip it all over
I'm
your
gonna
dead
drip it
guy
and
mouth.
cry at the same time.
It was so fucking weird, man. It was so weird to me. Just everyone's choices were so weird.
And I think also one of the issues is so many people were really looking forward to this. They've waited years for this.
Yep.
This is what they got.
I'm really curious to see how like those like diehard Batman or Superman fans thought about it.
I just wish it could not be garbage, because I would much rather the conversation tomorrow been like,
oh dude, how awesome was that?
Awesome. Remember the part where blah, blah, and now it's just gonna be so fucking, I don't want to sit through everyone tearing it down.
Yeah, and I'm gonna avoid a lot of it. I'm not even gonna watch any of those reviews, because I'm like, I already know what I feel about this film, and what they say isn't really gonna change it.
It's just that I know that they're not wrong. So
no, and that's the thing. That's why I'm like, they're not wrong, but I don't need to hear it again.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, Kanoe was showing me that it's at 30% on Rotten Tomatoes from critics, and it's at 76% from fans.
Some fans actually liked it, man. Some fans, it seems like they enjoyed themselves, and I'm like, that's great.
But again, it's not even really out yet in the U.S.
Right,
at least
until
early. Tomorrow, until a couple hours from now. I'm just anticipating a shitstorm being flung at this movie, and it sucks because it'll be everybody like, "See, I told you, fucking fuck Affleck."
Yeah, that's the thing, and I'm like,
and I don't think that he was the problem.
He's not the problem.
He's not the blame.
I think he did a good job.
But the same thing happened with Daredevil. Ben Affleck was not the problem with the Daredevil movie, but the Daredevil movie sucked dick, so everybody shit on Affleck for a decade or however long it's been.
That's the problem. It's like, because he's the face of that film.
Yep.
He's the blame. I mean, it's the whole crowd. It's the mentality that they have looking at it.
Yeah.
As with this film, it's like, Snyder is the complete, like, he's gonna get 100% of the blame.
I guarantee, dude, to everyone in the world now,
it's his fault.
He's Michael Bay to them.
It's his fault. I don't even think fucking as bad as that.
I think that's how
people shit on Michael Bay all the time, but they'll still go to watch his shit.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It just makes me so nervous for Justice League.
It does.
I hope they've got a much fucking better plan in place.
I hope the editing is so much better, and the writing. I hope the writing and editing.
It just, because it felt a lot like Ninja Turtles, how they were like, well, you got to fix this because people are going to be mad, or fix this, blah, blah, blah. They got to stop doing this.
Turtles 1 still came out better than this.
Yeah, I definitely didn't leave angry about it like I did with this movie. I don't even know if I was angry.
I was disappointed.
Defeated by it.
I was disappointed. I was just like, why did we get that?
Well, this was a joyful fucking episode.
But the soundtrack is fucking awesome.
I liked most of it.
I've listened to it like fucking on loop.
I'll have to listen to it by itself.
I love it. That's like awesome. But I was like, I wasn't even worried about the soundtrack, because I was like, it's them, it's those guys doing it again. So
yeah, I like the way they sound. Hans Zimmer, he's dope. Junkie XL so far, he seems real good.
He collaborates really well on it, man.
Yeah, the soundtrack was definitely not the problem. I don't even necessarily think any of the casting was bad.
I think casting is fine as well.
It's just everyone's decisions were wrong. So I think they need to start over with the writer. And as much as I hate to say it, because I love so much of the visual aspect of it, I think they need a new director's eyes on it. And I just don't even know, man. What the fuck?
If they had one vision at the start before they begin the film.
Yeah.
Instead of changing their minds constantly as
that's what I'm saying. I hope if they're sticking to one vision and they go, this is how we're gonna do it, then fine. Yeah. But they're supposed to start filming like couple weeks from now.
Isn't it in April? I thought they're filming in April, right?
It's in April. Woo! It's a couple weeks from now, and they're just about to get this shitstorm. I fucking bet you some sort of delay happens.
Yeah.
Oh, this sucks, dude.
Does.
Oh, I just can't even fucking handle it. I can't fucking handle it.
And it's gonna push back all the other slate.
Yeah, I'm like right now. I'm like, oh Jesus, please, Civil War be amazing. It looks amazing. Please be amazing.
And
Don't fucking throw Spider-Man in there and then suck because I can't handle what just happened.
You would probably start crying, wouldn't you?
I guarantee it, dude. It would be too much for me.
Oh man, it's like the emotions, but like I'm less worried about that one.
I'm not worried about it from their end because to me the Russos have a great track record right now. They've set the highest bar.
That's the thing. But because of that bar that they've set, if this film is a fail, it'd be a pretty crazy drop.
I just don't even after this movie happening. After this movie happening, even if the movie is mediocre, people are gonna be like, "Oh shit, that was amazing!"
Even if it was Iron Man 2 level,
right?
People will still be like, "Yeah, man, that was awesome."
After Fantastic Four and this, I don't just even know, man. Right now, I'm scared for comic book movies.
I'm not.
And X-Men. The more I see of that fucking X-Men movie, I'm like,
X-Men. Why? X-Men, every time I see it, I'm just like, why the fuck is Jennifer Lawrence Mystique? Why is Mystique the captain of the X-Men? Go fuck yourself. Fuck off. It's dumb. I don't even give a fuck.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I'm so glad Gambit is done. Who gives a shit about that?
Oh, yeah.
It's scary now. This, to me, is like, it makes it scary for the, like, everybody's saying, like, oh, comic movies are gonna fucking implode or yada yada.
Marvel's still doing alright, though.
Marvel's doing good, but I feel like if everything blows up around them, then people are going to start judging Marvel harder.
I don't know, man. I don't believe that'll be the case.
I hope it's not.
Yeah, obviously, I'm very hopeful that's not the case, but yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I just want it to be good. I wanted this to be good so
I did too, man. I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be good. Not even great. Like if it was great, awesome. But I just wanted it to be good.
Out of fucking curiosity, what did Leonard have to say about this?
He was just like he was disappointed. He wasn't angry. He was just disappointed.
Yeah, I think that's probably the overall feel for people.
Because he's like they had everything going for them in a sense.
Yeah.
Because they could make something so completely brand new, but
they had all the right pieces.
Absolutely, all the pieces were there, but the results was that. So he was just disappointed. He was just like, that's what it was. He'll never probably watch it again.
And like the casting of the chick from Walking Dead to play like Bruce's mom, and the dad for that matter, neither of them really even said anything. He said Martha. Wasn't that like his only fucking line of dialogue, basically?
No, but that opening scene visually looked really cool.
It did, but the point of casting those two in particular. If that goes nowhere, which it could go all over.
Point, it's not.
If they're introducing multiverse or whatever, because really their fail-safe right now is they could go multiverse.
Yep.
Here's a whole new cast.
Actually, I read something. Somebody made a post. I think it was yesterday, where they were like, it'd be cool if they actually, like in the next film, they set it up where this is actually a different world, a different universe, and we'll actually get the real Superman, the real Batman, where this is an actual Elseworld, and I'm like, it's just going to confuse viewers.
Yeah, that definitely is like...
It's just going to confuse
hopeful thinking.
Yeah, that's an incredible hopeful thinking, where everyone is aware of the multiverse in DC.
Yeah. I just don't know, dude. I just don't know.
But yeah, that was our thoughts on...
Yeah, I hope that was fun for everybody.
Hey, it was fun for us, though. I had fun in this.
Yeah, I think the most enthusiastic part was the first 15 seconds.
And also those moments where we talked about how cool the soundtrack was.
Yeah, Batman's fight was cool, but it should have been at the beginning of the movie, and it shouldn't have involved Martha Kent.
Nope.
It should have happened right after the scene where they showed his parents died. They could have skipped the floating fucking scene. Just have him look up into the light or whatever, cut that scene, and immediately go 30 years later, and he's beating the shit out of people in a warehouse.
Just destroying cunts, right?
Yeah, oh man, fucking such a, oh man. Civil War better be awesome. And Kevin Feige is somewhere right now fucking giggling like a
his fucking ass off. He's like, oh my, like, how did they do that? He's probably thinking, how did they do that?
Yep.
Oh, well.
Oh, jeez.
That was fun.
So, yeah, until next time.
Yeah.
Stay chipper, chaps.
Stay chipper.
What up, Chipper Chap? This is Chipper Chap Chat. What up, Chipper Chap? This is Chipper Chap Chat. What up, Chipper Chap? This is Chipper Chap Chat. What up, Chipper Chap? This is Chipper Chap Chat.